Welcome to the first episode of Pop-Tarts and Pints in a more podcast style. This is our little ice cream hour. Down below, right here, is my older brother, Brett. And to my left, I guess, is our friend, Mark. We're all in Florida together. You will see all of us in this episode, whether you listen to it on podcast or you watch on YouTube. Their information will be below if they want me to put it in there. But hope you enjoy. Question: what does Mark call his mom? I know
what
that.
Hasn't Mark called his mom? Nice things.
I called her yesterday. Nice things. I just needed money. That's it. I told her hair looked good. She had good personality. She has no need to get a divorce ever because no one's gonna pick her up.
Jeez.
She's a friend that gave me birth.
Yeah, Brett, there's like
this whole microphone thing is fucking hysterical, though.
It's just like a bulge.
Pretty much, yeah.
I guess in theory, it's not. The problem is it is a directional mic. So I mean, can you hear me now?
Still, unfortunately, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Brett, did you also get the chocolate fudge brownie?
I did. Was I supposed to get out of the freezer, or was just let it to, have it sit and melt on my desk and?
This is the thumbnail right here.
Oh, see, now I'm just the thumbnail's just gonna be me with this microphone on now. Let me go get the right one.
Some people's kids.
Man, what are you gonna do?
Are we eating this whole thing? How do we do this?
I mean, is
this an eating challenge? If not, can we make it an eating challenge?
This is not what we do here. This is just.
Oh, I did not sign up for this.
Did you see comedians in cars getting coffee, whatever that is?
No, I did not.
That's the goal. Is basically I just want to have like podcasts where we get together because of ice cream, but we just talk and just joke around because there's nothing else to do.
I have lots to do. I got grad school to go through. I mean, I'm down.
I do love the fact, I wanted to comment on that actually, the fact that two of us in this meeting are professional project managers for a living. And yet
Mike, you're a professional project manager too? I'm waiting for the second professional in the room.
Yet it took us a week to figure out a damn time to do this thing because, I mainly just blame the two project managers in this room actually.
Yeah, because like my finals start next week. Finals week is next week for me.
Wait, what?
Week 10 is finals week for me.
Oh, you took summer classes?
Yes.
I would have taken summer classes, but I did not want to pay for them. I would have had to pay out of pocket. Not about that life.
No. I'd taken the quarters and it's paid for, so I'm like, I'll get this done by a year from now-ish.
Yeah.
Which would be good.
How do you like your program, Mark?
I like the program. There are some classes I really like. Two classes I took this quarter. I just don't find anything really interesting about them. Like the one I like so far, there was last quarter, and it was graduate research methods, and basically was writing a hypothesis about a study and how you would perform that study, and eventually you would send that to like a board and they would approve it or disapprove it.
Are you at UCF?
No, Denver.
Okay, because I took that same class at UCF. I guess it's all like research based, and it's like
I love the class. I mean, I learned a lot from it, how to actually like write a paper, formally write a paper, not just write a paper. I mean, I think my final it had to be like 7 pages. Mine was like 15. But we use this thing called Turabian style. Have you ever heard of Turabian style? Oh, Brett, sorry, I had a. You would like to speak, Brett?
No, I just
hit a nerve there.
I hate Turabian style. The problem is that there's one person in this meeting who's a professional researcher for a living, so like his life is citing sources.
There's so many professionals in this room. I can't wait to find them.
It's like, gentlemen, where?
Where? What? What? Am I supposed to eat this now? Do we eat this now? I don't know how this works. I don't have the rules.
It's This is just an excuse to talk and joke around, and it's called the Ice Cream Hour.
Damn.
We just talk about nothing.
You're
basically.
telling me I have had a thing of ice cream, a Ben & Jerry's ice cream, a very lovely flavor, sitting in front of me for the past however many minutes. And
I've never had this before.
Huh.
Apparently, it's from Vermont. It's Vermont.
You can actually go to the Ben & Jerry's the Ben & Jerry's Flavor Cemetery in Vermont, and they have a flavor cemetery of all the ghosts of flavors pasts, and it's an actual place you can go visit. Also, fun fact, for anybody who watched the Netflix episode, Ben & Jerry's, the reason why they pride themselves on being so flavorful is one or the other, I don't remember if it was Ben or Jerry, actually has a problem with taste. So the whole goal is that they continue beefing up the taste until he can taste it. All right, then.
Do I rate this now?
I mean, you can. It's up to you. I mean, we have 5 ratings that I always have to mark down on a piece of paper because I always.
No, I meant the conversation.
So you've never had this flavor before?
I'm not really a big ice cream fan. Like, I'll eat it, but
how are we friends? Oh wait,
I don't search out like ice cream different flavors. Like, I make my own.
Nice.
Make your own ice cream? Huh.
Do you have a food that's like kryptonite for you?
All of it?
Just all of them.
No, I love all food except for pineapple.
Really?
I can't eat pineapple, except if it's on pizza and it's like gone through the oven and it's cooked out all the stuff that's gonna make my throat close up and make my tongue all itchy.
See, I'm the same way. My mouth goes numb for like 4 hours if I have pineapple.
I want my mouth to go numb.
Dude, that's how I am with almonds. I almost died at Disney Springs.
Oh, what happened? This sounds like a much better story than that stupid Ben & Jerry's funeral procession.
No, it was the day after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and we went to Disney Springs with some of our family friends who came down for vacation, and they absolutely annihilated the salad with like shreddings of almonds.
Oh.
And since like the family was going to be paying for us, I didn't want to be like disrespectful and like send back the food and whatever. So I ate the whole salad, and my throat was like, I felt something here. And then they're like, boys, we have to get dessert. And I was like, we don't. And we had like this dairy-free, vegan-free, non-GMO, keto intermittent fasting, blah, 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 blah. It's not healthy anyway dessert. And they had almond flour in it. And I'm eating a chocolate cake with almond flour. And at the end, I was like, dude, this is it. And I came to grips with the end of my life the day after the Eagles won the Super Bowl at Disney Springs. I said, this is it. I'm good.
I mean, can we talk about the other times you come to grips with the end of your life? Like, you know, the night that we all survived hurricane. Which hurricane was it? I've lost track.
Irma?
What was the one in 2018? Was it 2018?
That was Irma.
Irma, because Michael was 17, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Michael wasn't down there. Or Matt. It was Matt. Well, because they were both in the same. I don't know. I guess it was Irma. Yeah, it was the one. I think what was it? Polk City got hit pretty hard. We were up in Winter Garden at the time. We were up across from Hickory Hammock. We were not in Hickory Hammock. One day we were not in Hickory Hammock, but we were in that area, and
sure.
That was the night that luckily we didn't have an end unit. You know, we were in one of those townhomes in the center. So we didn't exactly risk losing the roof, but it was a little hit or miss there for a little while.
The end unit.
End unit.
We'll have to get Dan on.
Where is he? Oh, he's currently making a logo for Zoe and I's podcast. That's what he's doing right now.
Dude, that's awesome.
Preoccupied.
You have a podcast. I didn't know. That was my plug.
Talk about the podcast.
Information pending. Mark, did you know the update on your second most hated Broadway theater? It is currently its entire face is ripped
the
off.
Palace?
Currently, yeah, it's I got a live view of it, a live view of Times Square on Earthcam, and it's there. I don't know how many inches they've raised it so far, but the whole thing is completely defaced. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that theater and the Broadway theater. I hate them both.
Yeah, no, I got that question right at your birthday party.
You got one. That's the one you got. Great.
Exactly.
So, Mark, have you been able to go to any of the theme parks at all?
I did SeaWorld today.
How's that?
Good. They're probably the most lax right now. I've said it before. My first one there when they first opened, with the rules and regs and all the fun stuff of masks, but there's not really. They have gotten better. They now have like task forces for like enforcing masks and social distancing. They have done their shows well though. How to load them, how to dump them. So I mean, I think they've done that the best. Been to Universal, was there for the pass holder days and been there consistently afterwards. They're doing great. No really complaints here nor there. They were the first ones that opened in Orlando, and they came out with their groups and they said, hey, we're going to do this and we're going to have these masked people that are going to go around in their wonderful costumes that don't match. Bitter. I don't wear them, but whatever. And then they did enforce from day one, and then Disney opened up. I've only been there for the cast preview day of Studios. They had really good social distancing guidelines in place. They had probably the best in totality of actual queue. They put plexiglass where you couldn't separate, or they just like skipped out, or they measured differently. I think one of Universal's downfalls with the social distancing is their queue. Like if you go like the Castle of Harry Potter where Forbidden Journey is, they have tight corners where you really can't see around the corner to know where the next space is. So that's probably the biggest concern in those queue. Like, oh, do I move? Do I not move? Do I go up? The one thing I like that Disney and Universal both did, SeaWorld as well, they kept the spaces where you stand consistent. So they did not theme them per land. So like, that dot is throughout both parks. I don't know about the water park because I don't do water parks. But at Universal, the Volcano Bay, I don't know what they do, but the other two parks are like, they're blue dots, it says stand here or wait till next party or whatever. So I thought they did well. I also went to Six Flags Georgia, like the week after they opened. I was in the area. It was right before I got brought back. And they did probably the best pre-screening of them all. Some of them were adapting to that method. So they had two giant wide spaces where you walk through that had like your bag check. And if it set it off, you got pulled to the probably about 20 feet away into a table. So you weren't congesting that line. They would check your bag there. They started off with the infrared temperature checks. So when you walk through, it would scan everybody, and if there was a possible above some temperature, they would pull you aside and actually take a real reading off of a thermometer. So I mean, that was they impressed me, and they were the first ones to come out with a plan, even before they brought back Six Flags, but did well with all their opening and stuff. So I was impressed with them.
I mean, do they have to do anything as far as do you have to buy a ticket ahead of time to make sure there's not too many people in the park? I mean, it gets crazy crowded.
It depends what park it is. So SeaWorld, if you already have a pass, you have to go and reserve a ticket. It's a free ticket, but it's a reservation ticket for the day. If you're just buying a day ticket, you have to buy it for that day.
Okay.
Disney, there's 3 or 4 different buckets that they have their reservation system. So pass holders are in one, resort guests are one, day tickets are in one, and something else is in another. I think, don't quote me on this. It could be 3 or 4, I'm not quite sure. But you have to go in and reserve a day of what you can use and what you can't use. I think pass holders can only use up 3 or 4 days a week. Where SeaWorld, I can go every day with my SeaWorld pass if I want to. As long as I have a reservation, I'm good. Busch Gardens is the same way. I went down there, but they're also a SeaWorld entertainment company, so they're the same way as SeaWorld is.
Yeah.
Universal, they don't care. There's no reservation system whatsoever. But Brett, your parks aren't open yet, are they?
I don't work at parks anymore.
No, you have 2 parks that are very close to you, Discovery Kingdom and California. It's a Cedar Fair park. I sent it to the football stadium. Great America, California Great
Great
America.
America, that's the word. It's right next.
Found it.
Yeah, it's in the Levi's parking lot, or more like Levi's was built in their parking lot.
Great story, but they're not open, right?
No,
Okay.
California is not Florida.
Hey, Knott's is kind of open. I like what Knott's is doing.
We still have the third highest state with the most cases, but we're still doing better than Florida.
That's not saying much. Not saying much at all.
I don't know. I'll be working from home until the end of time.
If I can turn back time. Sorry, I'll stop that.
All right, Ted. Yeah, six months and counting.
So, Mark, seeing as that this is the first time you've had this flavor, what is your flavor rating on this ice cream?
Oh. I mean, I have notes.
This
You
is
have
a
notes?
problem.
Thank God it's not the microphone, Brett. Thank God. Oh, there's the microphone. We're not editing this up. This is too funny.
I got
For a
some
chocolate ice cream, I'm not a big chocolate ice cream fan. I do eat it because, I'm a big person. But
It's a lot of room.
I don't know. I'd probably give it a 7 because I like the brownie morsels in it.
Okay. Brett, what about
And
you?
the morsels kind of make it.
I think I used to love this flavor more, but I discovered a couple other flavors recently, especially some cookies and cream flavors I really liked from Ben & Jerry's, as well as one that I got a week ago called Gimme Some More, or Gimme Some More, S'more. Yeah, it's play on words. Get it? Ha! It's funny.
Gimme some more.
It's just like more. Yeah, and that was a pretty fantastic flavor. I ended up going and buying 2 of them and kind of killing.
Is it also a chocolate base or?
What was the base? I don't
Vanilla
know.
or-
I could.
Vanilla or chocolate? I mean, there's kind of 2. That's kind of, you got 2 to pick from.
I don't remember.
Did it look dark or light?
Next question.
I'm talking about the ice cream. Well, look, mine. Weird. My question is, how do you eat this shit and stay so damn skinny? That's what I want to know.
That's a question for Michael, right?
Yeah, not you, lady. Like, yeah, I ate 4 pints of ice cream and I lost 3 pounds. Go F yourself.
I actually made a video last night with my mom.
Nope, we're gonna continue moving on. Don't just have that one sitting in the air. Made a video last night with my mom. I think I've seen that one on the web. It's real weird. Sorry, Mom. I love you. We met once. I think you like me. I don't know.
They like you.
Their
Who
fault.
said, "Oh,
They
tell
don't
Mark
know.
I mean,
said hi."
it was also a pretty easy win considering we went to go see SpongeBob the musical right after that. My mom hated that musical.
It wasn't the worst thing. I just hate that theater.
Yes,
That's
Is that
about
in
it.
New York?
that's usually where Broadway is. Yes.
I have no idea, man. The funniest thing is that people are going crazy about how Hamilton is on Disney Prime,
What?
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, yeah.
I'm still not watching it.
Why?
I don't like history.
I mean, do you like music?
I don't know. Punk rock.
I mean, I would definitely I would turn it on and give it a try.
I got walked out on a date in Disney Springs.
So Disney Springs is not good for the Axler brothers, is it?
Oh, I have tons.
That's
of
what I'm
Disney
hearing.
Springs
We should
I
just
have
not
more
go.
Disney Springs stories than I wish to share on this podcast. No, I got walked out on by actually a performer at the Magic Kingdom that had asked me out. We were walking.
What
on
was his
Disney.
name?
I'm not saying what her name was because she has a unique name and everybody will know exactly who she is. We were walking on Disney Springs and I think it was actually going pretty well. And we had been talking for a while. Whatever. This is like a solid 3 or 4 years ago. And the subject of Hamilton came up and just Broadway shows that we like. And I had mentioned that I wasn't a huge fan of Hamilton because gave my reasoning. A lot of it has to do with the production staff behind the scenes and the way that they treat people and et cetera, et cetera. And legitimately, we happened to be by the Orange Garage at that point, and she was like, this isn't going to work, and spun around and walked her happy butt right up the stairs and left.
How happy was the butt?
She's a parade performer for Magic Kingdom. Next question.
I mean, that's not saying much at all.
I didn't realize Hamilton was out there that long.
The first preview was July 13th, 2015 on Broadway. I started off in the public. July 13th of 15. Yeah, that's what I said. The only reason why I know, because I was in the room where it happened that day. I paid $60 a ticket. That ticket skyrocketed to like over 500 in a month. It's when the Grammys hit. When the Grammys hit that year is when Hamilton really flew off.
Yeah, I remember they were saying how like it was so difficult to like get tickets to the show that you had to like be a very important person.
Yeah, I mean it was expensive. I'll say that. I mean, we knew it was going to do well when it hit the public, and you couldn't get a ticket out of the public.
Yeah.
And then once it transferred, I was just lucky enough to be actually in New York staying with my brother when tickets went on sale, and I got the last two for that opening day or the opening preview day. I bought one for myself, one for my friend Chrissy, and then that was like February, March, and then I flew back in July to see the show. Just worked out that way. So,
have you seen it more than once? Like, were you able to?
I saw it once on Broadway, twice on tour.
Nice. Brett, what about you? How many times did you see Hamilton? You see it?
I have only seen it on Disney Plus.
Which I think I will say it's a good representation of the show. That show is just there's a lot to it. I like the camera angles they shot with it. I like a lot of the choices that were made. You just didn't get the full the whole stage. Like I like to sit even when I like in regular shows. I like to sit up, either in the mezzanine or the balcony, because the stage itself, the floor has its own personality to it with lights and like choreography, so you get a better angle. Like you're not as close, but that's just my like 2 cents with it. I like to see the floor of it. I like to see the whole, I don't know, scheme, I will call it maybe, what's happening. So what else do we rate this on? I know, but what do you feel about this ice cream? You've had it before. Has it maintained its steadiness of the chocolatey of the fudge brownie?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's consistent. Okay, good.
We have to rate it on mouthfeel. It's probably arguably the most important category on this channel.
Is mouthfeel?
Mouthfeel.
Can I get a country of origin with mouthfeel?
Denmark.
Is it part of like the romantic languages, or?
Yeah, a bunch of the horny poets.
I mean, it's ice cream. What is it supposed to do?
Well, see, the thing is that you did say how like you really enjoyed the brownies, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed the brownies. They're a good texture.
Yeah, so I want something to chew on. Other people don't want something to chew on, or some people like hard ice cream versus like more of like a custard or a soft serve.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's a soft serve-ish now. Just because it's melting. It's fine though. I want to say throughout the whole process of it melting, it never had a bad feel to it though. It wasn't like, you don't get some of that crappy ice cream with like actually ice, like it feels like ice in it. Never got that from it.
Yeah.
Like ice charge didn't have that. It is cream. Thank God I'm lactose intolerant. It's gonna be a good night.
Really banking on how the rest of your night's gonna go.
I know. Let's start taking bets now. I don't know how. I don't have anything to judge mouthfeel against.
Okay, that's fair. What about creativity, was it? Would you have changed anything about this ice cream?
I wouldn't. I do have some with me. I make my own hard cap because that's what you do. So it's Nutella and coconut oil. You mix it together and it creates a hard cap on top of it. So I'll probably put that into it as addition later.
Nice.
Yeah, it's super easy. It's 1 cup of like hazelnut spread or chocolate or peanut butter and 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. You just mix it together and then you put it on top of frozen ice cream or a frozen dessert and it'll harden up on top of it.
So coconut oil?
Uh-huh. It's this
Ooh.
stuff.
I'm going to try that out. I'm going to try it. Yeah, coconut oil is like one of those like big like
And this is
good-
the bougie one because it's refined.
Where'd you get it? Like Publix or something?
Aldi.
Nice.
I love me some Aldi. But it went with the wine. It was buy one, get one.
Brett, what about you? Would you have changed anything about this ice cream?
A little bit of an overload of chocolate.
Oh, excuse us.
It's got the chocolate wine.
I know, God.
So yeah, maybe that would have
go back to your
broken
other
up a little
thing.
bit.
I am going to add some of these, though. I found these at my Aldi, too.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Pop-Tart bites.
Bites. I thought you'd appreciate this little tie-in to the Pop-Tartiness. I still think Pop-Tarts can be a breakfast thing, not a snacky thing, so we're at disagreement there.
Is the breakfast snack continuum?
Yeah, and then you would not put these in the toaster, but you would definitely put the regular Pop-Tarts in a toaster to heat them up and toast them. What kind of cannibal are you?
I can't imagine having Pop-Tarts for breakfast. Like it's just
You should try it sometime.
so much dense sugar at the start of my day. I feel like I'd be like, what am I doing?
What do you start your day off with normally?
Uh,
Banana and an apple.
I was like, can we also talk about like when he starts his day off?
Yeah, when? Well, you're like, aren't you an early riser or something like that?
yeah,
I'm up at 3 a.m. Go F yourself.
3:30. I don't like to sleep. I don't see the value in it.
So what time do you go to bed then?
Like 10.
Oh, we gotta hurry this up then, don't we?
I
Like
see the
you
value
do.
in sleep. It's called not being a grumpy you know what the next day.
It doesn't work for you though.
Definitely doesn't work for you either, Mark.
No, it does not. That's just my better disposition.
Why is it that we get along so well? But maybe this explains why nobody likes
Oh,
working
yeah.
with the two of us combined.
Hmm.
Is that why we always had a ton of call-ins whenever the two of us were the two crew chiefs?
No, just you. They liked me
Yeah, you fed them.
because I fed them. Okay, these things add to it. Like if they could put this into that thing, they would definitely get like a 9.
Jeez.
But it's gonna be hard to put a crisper shell into an ice cream and then freeze it.
Yeah, I can see
That'd be the
that.
hard thing. But yeah, we can like good topping. Find this, put it in that.
I like
Yeah.
your drinks that you were making.
All 93 of them.
You did 93?
Yep, every day from when it was.
I never see this.
It was 10 days after we were not let go, but 10 days after we were told not to report back. I just did a drink and then posted a picture, and everybody liked it. I probably got like 70 likes from the one drink that I made, and then 93 days later, the day right before I got brought back from furlough, like, this is the last one. But I was furloughed for 93 days, and each day had a drink. Even if I was like, didn't matter what time of day it was, there was going to be a drink of the day.
Yeah, I don't scroll through Facebook ever, but like I see whatever the first post is, and I just kept seeing you post and post and post. But like they were the most creative drink ideas with your garnish, and people would comment on it. I was like, this
And it was
is
the garnish, yes. If you didn't have a garnish, you got yelled at. And there was
That's
like,
I kind of got this idea for the channel based off of that because I was man, like Mark is like going up
This.
creative with this. This is
Yeah.
awesome.
that was the root of this channel. God,
Mark's like, oh crap, I failed.
failed. This is how my mother must feel. Failed. But no, there were. I would say there were some weirder times. I remember one of them was hysterically funny. It ended up being like a glass of water and a like garnish of ice. I'm like, shut up, I'm tired. That was one of the funnier ones. What else did I do? So the Star Wars half marathon got canceled. And one of my roommates, Sydney, she said, okay, I'm going to do a 10K and then a half marathon in honor of people who cannot run it, which meant I'm going to be doing a 10K and a half marathon as well. So I did a lot of movement. I can't say running because it was not running. It was quick walking or momentum chasing movement. But I did what was it? I know I did 2 half marathons, 2 halves, probably like 15 10Ks and then like 25Ks throughout the whole furlough process, I would say. It was a lot.
That's a lot.
And then one of them, I remember we had a college Zoom from our theater program, so we watched a couple of our movies through Zoom, whatever. And kind of like now, Zoom is just a social thing, so I always had a drink. Well, that was the night that I ran a mixer. So I used SoCo as my mixer, so it was SoCo and Fireball straight mixed together. And then the next day I did get up and do a 10K. And that was rough as hell. That's when I put a bottle of like ibuprofen as my garnish.
I saw that one.
Yes, that was that story. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite? Did you have a favorite drink that you were like, that was awesome? Like
the last one, no. No, I never had really a favorite. There's only one that I could not finish. It was just so disgusting. It was this apple one, and it had like apple whiskey, apple schnapps, I think it was. It was like 3 or 4 things different apple flavors. I think it was like Fireball in it, and it was just so thick that you couldn't really like enjoy it at all. And it was very sweet, but it wasn't like a pleasant sweet. It was a disgusting sweet. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I had to like split that one between 2 days. Like none of the drinks ever got dumped. I just continued to drink the next day. So I'll make another one.
Yeah, you don't really want to like waste it.
Oh, and it was in this cup too. So this is a 3-cup wine glass. So it can actually fit a whole bottle of wine in it. Doesn't look like it, but yeah.
It's like a goblet.
Yeah, and it was in these cups. Every day was 2 cups of alcohol and 1 cup of usually mixer.
Oh, man, I don't know what it is. Like, I can't do alcohol.
Like alcohol in general, or like beer alcohol?
Just like in general, like I can't do it. I either get insanely nauseous or I get like a migraine. Like I don't know what it is. Like alcohol.
Right, no alcohol, no nuts.
I can crush sugar all day long and I feel nothing. But like alcohol, I'm done. Like I'm absolutely tapped out.
Interesting. I can drink alcohol all day long and just be fine. I can also do sugar all day long and just don't give me pineapple.
What about caffeine?
What about it?
Are you someone who can drink a cup of coffee and then go to bed, or are you like wired?
I would probably be more on the side of wired. Like I do drink coffee most mornings, but I don't drink. I drink it like how it comes out of the K-cup. It's like black. I like cold coffee, so usually I like brew it the night before. But there's like no cream, no sugar. It's literally water and coffee grounds, and it brews, and then that's it. It's very bitter, like me.
Brett, I know you can like hit coffee all day long and be pretty okay.
I don't work for the company anymore that requires me to work an average of a 65-hour week in order to pay my rent. So no, I have 1 small cup of coffee in the morning and I'm good.
Like 8-ounce cup? Like I have a small cup.
Less than that these days. Well, when I moved out here, I was still, I was heavily addicted to coffee because I would do a, what was that? I would do a 32-ounce coffee in the morning before work, and then I would do probably another 32 ounces after lunch in order to make it through my last 2 years with the mouse. Then when I moved out here, I transitioned to just iced coffee in the morning. There's iced coffee is really big out here. And I would go and make at first it would be like I would have one large iced coffee, probably 16 ounce in the morning, and then a 16 ounce after lunch. And now, especially since work from home, I make my own iced coffee, and I just or cold brew, and it's probably only like,
excuse us.
Yeah, it's probably only like 5 ounces of. Oh yes, so bougie. Yes. Do you see that bridge behind me? I'm starting to turn into the state that I'm living in.
Jump.
And
They won't let me.
No. Anyway, yeah. So no, I think I'm down to like 5 ounces of coffee a day at this point. I remember the day I met you. Actually, I specifically remember when and where I met you, and I think yeah, there was no introduction.
Was I sober?
I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was right after the flooding had
like someone off.
It was right after the flooding had subdued in the arena, and this is when it was still under construction. The flooding had subdued, and we went in with one of the.
Moses came in and parted the seas. That's right.
We went in with we needed one of the technical director. We were walking with one of the technical directors, and we had found that all of the floor pockets and underground electrical systems had been completely flooded out. And I just remember I had always heard your name. I kept being told I needed to go talk to you. And then this just like 6'7" huge just guy that looks like a giant teddy bear came in and was sarcastic as hell. And
I don't know who would that be at all.
Made every joke about how why the floor pockets were full of a couple 100 gallons of water, and you were just shrugging your shoulders off, saying,
"Fuck it."
All types of comments I don't think we should probably say on this channel. Yeah, in front of the entire project crew.
We'll tell you later on the after night, the after dark episode of the Ice Cream and Eats with Mike.
Oh my god.
I was hoping that would come up at least once. That I was like explaining to one of my friends that I was gonna do all these different videos with different people. Like I do pint versus pint, I do guess the pint. Now I'm kind of doing like a podcast style with you guys. And he's like, "Oh, who are you doing it with?" I was like, "Oh, my older brother and one of our friends from Florida. He's like 6'7". He's like super funny, and he gives the best hugs." And he's like, "He's 6'7". I was like, "Yes, people need to know that. It's fucking awesome."
You people like what?
We also, can we just keep in mind the fact that there's a reason, going back to a couple of minutes ago when Mark went and said, this is a 3-glass thing of water. You can't tell when he's holding that glass how big his hand is. Mark's hand, I think there's a photo of Mark literally grabbing the top of my head. And like Mark's fingers literally going around my head can touch ear to ear on the top of my head. That is how big your hand is.
Maybe your head's just small.
Oh, that's a given. There's not a lot in there, except for a lot of sarcasm and
I got more jokes coming. Just
just lob them up there, alley-oops.
Yeah.
This is 3 cups, and this thing is like taking up my whole hand here. You got the goblet, man.
I think it's if you go on a piano, it's 14 notes is my span.
I'm gonna Google that.
The thickness of 14 notes.
I don't know. I know nothing about pianos. What thick is a piano key?
Well, no, because it's also counting the sharps and flats.
What do you want me to Google then?
So I can go from like C, D. It's like C to E. So you would skip a C and go directly to the E. Is my wingspan. There's only 2 people with longer wingspans that I know: my brother and Charlie Cox.
How long is your wingspan?
That big. That's it.
Yay big.
I don't have a measuring device on me. Well, I do, but it's inappropriate to pull out right now.
Who's are you the tallest one in your family or no?
Yes, I'm the birth defect. I am.
You're the lucky one. I'm the shorter one. Brett's like 2 or 3 inches taller than me. It's ridiculous.
See, but there are negatives to being tall. There are some coasters you cannot ride.
I have vertigo, so I don't go on a lot of coasters. So I'm like,
that's your own fault. I can't ride Infinity Falls. It's a 6'5" height restriction. Yeah, so my coasters is usually the big one that helps. Buying clothes, also my torso is the height. Like I have a normal like 32, 34 length.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
My torso's the long one. Yeah.
That's insane. I think I have a 32 length, and I'm like 5'9". You're almost a foot taller than me.
It's all on my torso. That's what makes me look so thin. So it's this whole pint of ice cream, real thin.
But this is all like relative because you can eat more than we can. Because you're more of a human being. I'm pretty compact, so like this makes up like half of my daily.
Yeah, but your metabolism is like Speedy Gonzalez. It's like just goes. Mine's like, I don't know. Mine's like a snail. It's like, I'm here. I'm doing a thing. It ain't fast, but it's going. It's like me running a marathon. It's like, okay, I'm going.
How many marathons have you run? You run a lot.
One done. One full, and I'm done with that shit.
Yeah, but you did like the dopey or you did every day. That's a lot.
That was stupid. 48.6 miles in 4 days.
That was crazy.
That's my younger
longest you've done in a day, Michael?
What?
What's the longest you've done in a day?
About 35.
For fun? Like, was someone chasing you? Were you
it was this. It was this race. I got lost. So I tacked on like 4 extra miles because I got lost.
I went to the moon and back on this race.
Oh, that poor ride.
That's okay. Let's see. Rating here. Have you seen the new show at Universal? The new stunt show?
Yes, I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually did like it. I saw it preview and I saw it as after it opened. I mean, it was like you had to sit back in that show for the Bourne Spectacular, but you had to sit back for it. I'll take that show over some of the other attractions like Jimmy or Fast and Furious or Kong.
Oh, Fast and Furious is awful.
It's shut down right now.
When it works.
You know, it's that they shut down some of their attractions to keep money down for operating costs.
Yeah.
And then what have you been up to, Mike? School? Like we talked about our lives and what we've been doing. What the hell have you been doing? It's not decorating your living room, I know that.
Actually, I live in a new apartment now.
Oh, now we moved again.
Yeah, so I move every year. So I live with 2 people from my program.
Fun?
Yeah, it sucks. I've lived in 9 places in the past, I think, 8 years. Just keep moving, but
maybe it's
second year of my PhD. A lot of research, working on my dissertation. So, but I mean, it's like all from home. You know what I mean? So it's like I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I go to the gym. I come back and I'm done everything by 8 a.m. And I'm just like, all right, what do I do now?
You go to bed. Wake up tomorrow at 3.
But that's about it.
What is your dissertation on? What is your findings, or what are you trying to find out?
I'm trying to prove that whey protein is really beneficial for your blood pressure. I don't know exactly.
Is that working out for you?
What?
Is that working out for you?
Yeah.
Do you need some case studies? I'm not doing it. I can find some people though.
You know, it's kind of like milk proteins. So like dairy products have been shown to like reduce blood pressure, reduce cholesterol, reduce fasting blood sugar, so it can help diabetics. And they separated out milk into whey and casein. Those are the 2 proteins in like a glass of milk. And what they found is that like when you drink like a whey protein supplement, which like a lot of like bodybuilders do and everything, it's actually like really, really beneficial for your blood pressure, your cholesterol, and your blood sugar. And they're just trying to figure out how and why it works. And so I'm kind of diving into that and basically showing that like even after having a very, very high fat meal, like after having like this, for example,
low fat.
Your blood pressure is going to go up, your sugar levels are going to go up, your cholesterol is going to go up. But if you drank whey protein, it would have a protective effect on you. So that's kind of the avenue I want to take.
Okay. Has this been proven or disproven before, or is this something you had to find, or?
Yeah. There's a bit of research on it. They just don't know why it works specifically, like the mechanism. And I don't know if I want to look for the mechanism, because if there's like COVID going on, then like I can't recruit a lot of subjects. I would have to do a lot of microscope and cell work, and I could work on mechanisms, or I could one thing I'm interested in is looking at animal proteins versus plant proteins, because that's big right now, people going plant-based, and just kind of looking at something like a soy protein versus like an animal protein, or a milk, which is like an animal protein. So I don't know. It's the direction that's what I want to take. So.
Okay. And how long do you have to do this with? Like, how long is your time frame?
3 more years.
You got time.
Yeah.
Loads of time.
I like it though, because it's like, I know that I TA for like a cadaver lab, so.
Oh. You know, apparently Ben Jerry's has a funeral home of flavors if you want to go visit them. Cadavers.
Just cut them open.
Someone told me that earlier. It was weird. Friend, I guess.
Brett, Brett, I liked your videos, by the way. Those are good.
Oh, thank you. I'm just about
videos?
finished editing my third one. Yeah.
What kind of videos are you doing?
I got bored.
Surprise.
Yeah, I got bored, and I've been working on a podcast right now. So first of all, I know I'm working from home for at least another year. It's been announced formally. So other than a couple minor stops into the office here and there, like I definitely legitimately considered moving back to Florida there for a minute, just because I'm like, well, what else am I doing out here? And Florida's cheaper, but then again, it's Florida. It would mainly just be out to hang out with people, like Mark and Sydney.
Who's ever hanging out?
I mean, okay, I'll hang out with Sydney and I'll hang out with Chris.
That sounds better.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Mark, your birthday's coming up soon anyway. I gotta do, anyway.
Oh, is it? I didn't know.
Yeah, what is it, your 25th birthday?
27th.
27th.
Always a 27th.
27th
No
for
one
the 11th
asks.
year. For the 11th year in a row.
No one asks, oh, you're 27? Oh, that's no worries. No one asks. It's like they just accept it as gospel if you say you're 27.
Oh, man.
It's like, you're 27? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
Why?
yeah.
Because I said I am.
So,
what happens at 27? People die at 27. Like Amy Winehouse. Like, this is a 27 club.
Yeah, Jimi Hendrix, the guy from The Doors, George Morrison.
I mean, there's quite a bit of people. So I'm like, you know what? No one's gonna ask anymore. No one cares. I think I could pass for it, and I'm big, so people don't ask. It is.
Wait, Mark, where are you from? I knew this at one point. Where are you from?
Where do you think I'm from?
That terrible place with that terrible football and hockey team.
New York.
Okay, that's not wrong. Not right. Not where I'm from, but not wrong. No,
the other terrible hockey and football team.
I'm from the good side of the state.
No.
Are you from Florida?
There's no good side of that state.
There is no, and there's not even a side as like northern, central, or Miami. That's the sides of my.
For some reason, I feel like you're from like, I don't know, like Cleveland or something.
Hey, Michael.
Getting closer.
Hey, Michael, he's from that place. Shout out to Dan, our other roommate. He's from that place that
all of our teams have the same color.
So many bridges. Like they have the best bridges, man.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Much better bridges.
Yes.
Much better bridges than a football or hockey team.
Yeah. We have more bridges than Venice.
Venice have bridges?
Venice, Italy.
It's on the water, yeah.
I just thought the whole city was one giant bridge in theory, like.
No, that's not how that works.
There's the Pope, and then there's the bridge of pasta.
Pope, you know what?
Edit this out.
No, keep this in.
There's gonna be like 5 sections where we're just gonna be sitting here debating whether we edit this out or keep this in.
I know we'll have like different like amounts of like frozenness on the thing, but they'll all be skipping sections. Like this was filmed earlier, this is filmed later. You can tell by like the frost on the. Yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh, born and raised. Went to school there. I went to Cal U, PA.
Wait, did you have you ever been to Primanti Brothers?
Can you please say it correctly?
It's a yes,
Primanti.
obviously, but how do you say
Primanti
it?
Brothers.
Primanti?
Primanti, yes.
I think they're making one in like Philadelphia or something. My mom told me.
There's 2 in Fort Lauderdale. It's the only one outside of the Pittsburgh region. But they have, when the original Primanti company sold out. They started to do chains, so they're popping up more stores, more local stores like a Fridays or an Applebee's, but they're being more successful than a Applebee's or Fridays because it's more local. They understand their market, but yeah, they are expanding as well. So they're good sandwiches. They do the whole fries and coleslaw on it. You don't really get a choice. You get it on or don't get it at all.
Yeah, they give you like a piece of wax paper.
Pretty much.
I think I had like a tuna melt or something when I went out. Like
yeah, they're pretty decent selection too. Yeah. Nice.
Have you been there before?
Which one?
The Winchester Mansion?
I've been there twice.
Dude, it's so cool.
I have been there for a normal hour tour, and then a friend and my Corinne, we went for a haunt tour, so we did the candlelight tour for Halloween. Very, very, very well done. I was impressed with them. I don't know if they're open yet, but I know while they were in, when Furlough first started, Winchester came out on their website and posted like an hour video tour of the house, and it was just remarkable about how much Sarah Winchester. I love the house. I mean, I don't know if I like the house or like Sarah Winchester between the two. It's just how her philosophy was just keep on building.
Yeah.
With spirits. So I'm like, I like that stuff though. So, I mean, that's the same trip that we did, and we did 3 of the 4 Zodiac killer sites. So I mean, that was that too.
What's that?
So do you know the Zodiac killer?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Think Brett's area. That's where he was basically. No one really knows exactly who he was. There's ideas of whom, but in that San Francisco area, there is probably within at least maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes out of the city. He had technically had 4 confirmed attacks and 5 kills. And then some were multiple. So there's actually 4 sites with 5 kills. But then, like, the first one is probably 10 minutes from Discovery Kingdom, the theme park. So I didn't know that till after I left Discovery Kingdom the first time. So when I went back with Corinne, we did the park, whatever. Then the next day we kind of had like a down day. So we actually went over to that site and actually see where like the police record photos were taken and all that still exists. And it was kind of weird, like living history almost. So I enjoyed that. And like one of them was in Cherry in Washington. If you know him at all, that was in San Fran. So I mean, that was like the kind of the whole haunt trip, like scariness stuff. So I mean, it was cool.
Yeah, we went to one that was like when we went to London, like a Jack the Ripper tour. Mm-hmm. And all these different sites of like where he did different things. And I think it's so interesting that they're just like, yeah, he heinously killed people. Like he would like cut them and then like fold their like skin above their head. Like just the most heinous things that people are like, yeah, let's investigate this. And it's like families. It's a funny concept. I think it's pretty interesting.
I think it's the psychology which I like about them. It's not like, the actual like torture and brutality of it. I like the mental capabilities that people have. Kind of like The Most Dangerous Game, if you think about it. Do you know that book?
Yeah.
Brett, do you know what a book is?
Yes, I have read 13 of them this year. And currently I'm reading the new one that just came out the other day by former
Twilight
Vice
series by Stephanie.
Former Vice President of Magic Kingdom, Dan Cockerwell, because I've read all of his dad's books, and now I'm reading his book, and it's really good. I'm about halfway through it.
How is it?
It's really good.
And what's it about?
It's about leadership. It's one of the usual Disney leadership books. I don't mean to all group them together, but it's a lot of the same leadership elements of Disney leadership.
Okay. Is there any one book you've read so far that you would recommend over any other ones? Like, I like the Stephanie Meyer's Twilight book, or
Bob Iger, Ride of a Lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to read that one. That was amazing.
Good story.
Mark, what about you? What book would you recommend? You said you like the Twilight books?
No, that's just the newest one that came out so far.
There's more Twilights?
Yeah, they're apparently my roommate is Sydney is reading it. Apparently she is writing the first book over, but in the viewpoint of not Bella, but the vampire guy. So it's the same storyline, it's the same timeline, but it's filling in the holes of what happened while you're reading this part on the first book or whatever, and then you're reading it from a different perspective on the same timeline.
That's pretty cool.
No, a book that I've read recently that I loved is called Scream. And it is all about this professor, but she's not a professor, but she mostly teaches at, her name is Margie Kerr, and she works with the University of Pittsburgh. But in Pittsburgh, there's a haunt called, I think it's Scare House, Scream House, I think it's Scare House, for haunts. And she goes into the psychology of why people get thrills out of stuff. She actually was the reason that I got to pick my, I would say, not really my thesis, I would call it. It's not really a thesis, but it is a thesis. It's for my class. My thesis was people do more dangerous activities for enjoyment, like going on a roller coaster or going through a haunted house or going skydiving. Like those are more dangerous activities. Like there's possibilities you could get hurt on those. But people still do them because they feel safe because there's guarantee behind them. Like you have the proximity and the control over it, so you know that there are warning signs out front that said you can get hurt, but it doesn't mean that you will get hurt. There's more control over it.
Yeah.
So she went into this whole book of I go into the physical aspects of it. She goes more into the psychological aspects of it, but she goes through this whole thing. Like she goes on. The first one started off with haunted houses and roller coasters, and the ones that she's been on. She's been to Japan to all their coasters. She's been to that, they call it the suicide forest, where all, I think it's in Japan, where a lot of people go to this forest and commit suicide. She has been to, what's the one, the tall tower in Toronto?
CN Tower. Canada
CN
National
Tower.
Tower.
Yeah, so they do a thing called the Skywalk there, where you are harnessed in, you walk onto a ledge with no handrails, and then they start doing quote-unquote tricks. Like, you actually lean over the tower only held on by the harness. You sit on the ledge, and then you, like, lean over, and you turn around and you fall backwards, and the harness catches you.
That is absolutely terrifying.
Like, I would love to go do it. I think it's kind of fun. But that's, like, so that book, it's a lot more than what I explained, but it goes into the psychology of what gets your blood pumping. Why does it? Why do people seek this out? So it's not really a fiction novel or really non-fiction. It's more just a pretty clean-cut, dry data, but it's very interesting, at least to me. Some people would hate it, and I get that. Some things are not for everybody. I would hate a knitting book. So, I mean...
I like where you came back around. That was great. No, I completely get. I think that's like super interesting because I was talking about my mom and I was just like, I think I've come to a point where like I really wanted to go skydiving, but now I don't see the risk reward that I did when I was like
Okay.
17. You know what I mean? Like right now I'm like, I don't really know, but like roller coasters, like sure. Like that to me is not a risk. Even though there is a
Even
risk,
with the reports come out that like people get killed on roller coasters or people die on roller coasters, like Texas Giant had a big one when it first opened. The safety restraint wasn't fully closed. The woman in the coaster said she didn't feel safe. They dispatched the coaster. The restraint came up and she flew out of the car.
Whoa.
You're welcome. I know. So like, I did a lot of research. I mean, I knew a lot of stuff from coasters because I'm a coaster enthusiast, but I still think there is more safety precaution in a coaster than even like a surgery or something, like something that you would need to get done. Or,
yeah.
Which taking back to Scream, that was the book that I read, which I liked. That was my furlough read, I would call it. It's also an Audible.
Plug.
I'll plug her. I'll plug that book every day.
I was curious. Have you ever heard of the book by Ray Bradbury, Something Wicked This Way Comes?
Heard of it, never read it.
It is amazing. I read it probably about a year ago, and it's about a traveling circus. And basically, the people in the circus are almost like Pennywise from It, in that they don't die, but they feed on the souls of the young kids who come to the carnival, the traveling circus. and they basically get sucked into like the mirror house, and they just go missing. So every time the circus comes around, like one or two kids go missing, and that's how they continue living and thriving. Is they get like a couple of kids each town they go, and they have to solve the problem. It's like really, really interesting.
That's fun.
Basically, just told you the whole plot, but
You didn't have the ending.
yeah, that's true.
See?
But given the opportunity, would you ever want to create your own roller coaster or own your own park?
I could see me doing it. I think I'd be successful at it. I don't see me. That's not really an aspiration. If it falls in my lap, sure, why not? But it's one of those far and few things. I just know that there's a lot more to the business side of a theme park than people actually realize. I also think there's a lot, mostly it's like upkeep and maintenance to just get people coming back. Because unlike kind of escape rooms where you have to create something new, because like once you play an escape room, you're kind of done. So the creativity part is always flowing. With a theme park, you're going to have more capital in investments and maintaining stuff than you would creating new. You want to create the new to draw the new crowd, but you want to maintain the positive vibe you have set for yourself. I think that's a lot of what theme park industry is. It's about coming up with new and innovative, but keeping what you already have.
Yeah. That's what they said about in the Disney Imagineering story. The difference between Disney World and Disneyland was that in Disney World, you always leave saying, I didn't get to go on that. That was a long line. Oh, we didn't get to do that. And it makes you coming back. Whereas in the beginning, Disneyland, you hit everything and you're like, okay, that's it. And I never thought about it that way, but you want to leave them wanting a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I think the other thing with like Disneyland has a different market. They're mostly season pass holders, where Disney World is more day tickets because we do get more tourists because there is more stuff to do. We're more accessible. We're not. How long is the flight from London to Orlando? 7 hours at max, maybe 7-8 hours. When you go to California, you're adding another 5-6 hours onto that. So we get more internationals here than you would, let's say, a Disneyland or like the Knott's or I don't know what else is out there. The Universals that they have, they're more based on locals, where we're more based on tourism, which I think why when the whole pandemic happened, Central Florida didn't get hit that much because people were like, oh, the parks are going to get hit. They're shutting them down. Let's leave. Who's left? Employees. Like most of our cases are in Miami. Yes, there are some in Central Florida, but everyone left from here. It's like we'd be busy throughout the summer, and we really weren't because we were shut down. So I think it's one of those, if you look at the model of how Walt Disney World runs, compare the two, that's kind of what it boils down to, in my opinion, where it's leaving a little bit more for the return audience to come back. Whereas in California, I think they focus more on events and seasons and doing stuff to appease their pass holders to get them to spend more money. Because I know they came out with a couple of festivals and stuff.
Yeah, that's what they were always, what was always told to me every time I would start digging into those conversations, especially like when I started right around the 60th anniversary of Disneyland. And of course, Disneyland had just gotten all the new cool stuff for the 60th. And a lot of us in, Orlando were kind of like, oh, when are we getting some of that stuff? And a lot of it was like, well, Disneyland it's one of those places where it's mainly annual pass holders. And Disney World is a destination. And so Disney World, you're going to, ultimately, you don't have as many people that go to Disney World yearly, where Disneyland, it's a lot of annual pass holders and they're going constantly. So if you look at like the history of parades even between Disneyland and Disney World, there are so many more parades that have been produced and recreated and plussed in Disneyland than in Disney World.
Though. Their weather is more susceptible to that environment. I'll put it that way. Because like bringing Block Party Bash over, taking a parade that ran in like 80s and putting it in like 105 consistently twice a day with 2 show stops.
Yep.
There's differences.
Yeah. It's interesting too, looking at it from like the perspective of you would, most people wouldn't realize, like there was, now that I say this, like Paint the Night Parade, for example. There was all this discussion for years about bringing Paint the Night Parade over to Disney World. Everybody's like, and there's like every excuse in the world was brought up about, well, Mater, not Mater, what's the name of the giant truck?
Mac?
Mac, yeah, sorry, Mac. Everybody, like Mac wouldn't make the turn at the Liberty Bridge, and Mac wouldn't be able to go and make the hub, and Mac also wouldn't. It was also a lot of Mac things. Mac wouldn't be able to fit in the parade building, things like that. And it's interesting where you go and look at like the size of Main Street and the size of the park. Obviously, Disney World, Magic Kingdom, from a visual perspective, it's much larger. Even though it's not, it's just from visually, it's a lot. Like Main Street's longer, everything like that. But they both have their very unique. They both have unique things that hold them back. They both have their unique problems, and it's something where it's you start to go and look across all the Disney parks in the portfolio at this point, and they're very unique in that every park has its own features where it might be that a parade or a show wouldn't fit in a certain park. It might be something where they don't have. It doesn't make sense for that culture. And also, where like Tokyo, for example, this wasn't something that went like major public before, but after the Imagineering story, it's a lot more public now. Is like most people had no idea that Tokyo, the reason why Tokyo Disney Sea is arguably close to probably being the best Disney theme park on the face of this planet is because Disney didn't pay for it, most of it. It was completely funded by the Japan, I forget the name of the, I forget the name of the company, that Japan Land Holding Company or something like that. And they're the ones who ultimately footed the bill. And it was embarrassing kind of. And again, they talk about it in the Imagineering story. It's just like, they talk about how we had this insane theme park being built over in Japan. And at the same time, this Disney's California Adventure, when it was first built, was kind of a joke. It was bad. Like you could knock out the whole park in 4 hours, and it really didn't have anything spectacular to it. It didn't make sense. It had like one of the worst rides known to Disney history. It's like that's something that I think a lot of people don't see and don't normally pay attention to when they don't think back to your point about the business logistics of a theme park. Is a theme park is incredibly expensive. It can take years to go and develop anything. You can't just go and decide at the end of the main season in October of one year. You can't decide, hey, you know what, next year we want to go and open up a new roller coaster before next year. No, it's like a 3 to 5 year plan, in order. And that's even if you just go and even if you were to get a pre-constructed roller coaster, which most roller coasters are pre-constructed, they're all, Medusa was the one that, Medusa are now Bizarro at Six Flags. I think it might still be Bizarro. That was one of the coasters where there's 11 of them around the world. And same thing, like, funny story that most people don't realize, the Dueling Dragons coaster that used to be where Hagrid used to be, that coaster wasn't even designed for Universal. That coaster was designed for Animal Kingdom. They designed the coaster for Animal Kingdom, and then Disney was like, we don't want it. We're scrapping the project. And then Universal's like, we'll buy it. And still, like, just to even go and buy a prefabbed coaster, a pre-designed coaster from somebody else, it takes a lot of time. And not to mention just the upkeep, and everybody always asks, why doesn't Disney go and build a sixth park? Well, Disney's not building a sixth park right now because the amount of maintenance and the amount of effort that it takes to, put into to maintaining its existing properties, not to mention the business behind, well, right now Disney is a perfect, what is it? I think it's designed to be a 6-day vacation, basically, with the 7th day being a travel day. And it's like, it's just people, it's interesting when you start looking into the logistics behind it, but I can agree with you there. It's like, I would never want to be the owner of a theme park. I would never want to be, that's not a business I'd want to be in. I know, like I always say, I really want to work my way up into being an executive. I think where I'd want to stop being an executive would be a creative. I would never want to go beyond a creative executive because I don't want to be diving into the long-term 10-year outlook of the portfolio. Operationally, I'd rather be looking into the portfolio of, what's just from a creativity standpoint. Okay, this certain portfolio handles the parades for the next 5 years and handles the, projection shows and whatever else. But it's a wild business.
So I think what it comes down to, like, owning one, it's just a lot of some people don't know. People aren't, and it's not that they don't know. They don't know because they don't have to know, and that's okay. It's just there's a lot to it that people don't think about owning their own park, or even really, it's any business, anywhere from small to big. It's your customer relations, because your customer is your financial point. It's what's bringing people in. If you don't have people, you don't have a business. Then it's like your gate price. If your gate price is only going to be worth what someone is willing to pay for it. So if you start marking that up too high, people don't pay. You don't have people coming in, which then deflates your value. That's kind of the two key points. And you go into like merchandise, and that's a whole other thing. And then you're like, why are people coming? And then if you don't have a good selection or not enough, few exceptions are again Knoebels. I think Knoebels is one where it's like you pay per ride still. It's like free entry, but you pay per ride. I want to say Lakemont Park is also in Altoona, PA. I think it's Altoona, PA. They're another one where you just can go in, but you pay per attraction, which is a better solution for a smaller park. It would never work for a large corporate entity. So I mean, it's like a lot of things. So if something fell into my lap and I had to do it, sure, I probably could pull it off. Would I want to? Probably not at this point. And that's the short answer.
No, this is interesting. These are good topics. These things I never thought about because like I was talking to someone about like this ice cream channel, and it's just like there's nothing else to do, so I'm like, why not? But like I would love to have my own ice cream shop when I'm older. But those are things that I never thought about. I thought about the allure of like scooping ice cream for the community and having a conversation and just like hiring local teenagers and their friends would come in and like just like a nice local shop, and you can like give out little samples and whatever and be fun. But I'm not trying to do something on a full scale as to which Disney or Six Flags or Dorney would try to do. And for me, it would just be a small thing. But these are great conversations to have of just like, realistically, is that something that you're interested in? Like, I would never want to own a gym because, I mean, I love gyms, but like I would never want to own one for like, because I know it's not going to make any money. But it's interesting.
It is interesting.
Go ahead.
It is interesting too to go and discuss where there's a reason why you know that, because freshman year of high school, Michael probably had no idea about any of these things. Why is it that all of us here know what we want to do and what we don't want to do, or we have a much better idea of it at least, is honestly because we went and experienced it. You don't want to go own a gym because you've worked in a gym before. You understand the operation. You understand the operations behind a gym. Mark's never been to a gym, so he doesn't know anything about a gym.
I've been to them. Don't approve of them.
Mark and I know
there's no mini bar. Like, what the fuck?
Mark and I know the ins and outs of a theme park because we've, lived in them. Mark knows the ins and outs of the touring life and probably never wants to do that again. So
Nope,
it's like
not playing that one again.
That's something where like I'm very particular. I'm very particular about that when I tell students, and students are always asking about how do you go and get to work at Disney, or how do you go and get to work for the NFL or wherever else.
Sell your soul.
Yeah, if you want to work at Disney, sell your soul. Worth it, but sell your soul. But the ultimately what you have to do is you just need to try everything. You need to give it a try, and that's what I think is like really broken with our educational system. Is like you're expecting somebody as an 11th grader who has spent their entire life working, just being in school, and maybe working a summer job here or there. 9 times out of 10 is probably like a waiter or a cash register. And then you're gonna suddenly go and you're gonna ask them to go and pick their major. Like, how many people do we know in our professional lives now that are not are doing nothing that have to do with their major? I mean, myself included. Like at this point, I do want to go back to doing what my major is doing eventually. What my major was eventually, being entertainment, but I'm working for a tech company right now. Come on, like, and it's like I mean, Mark, what's your degree in?
Which one?
Not project management one.
Which one? I have a bachelor's in technical theater, concentration line design, and I have a bachelor's of science in business marketing, concentration, and selling.
He's the most educationally trained one here, Brett.
He's the one that's actually doing almost everything.
People don't know I have a sales degree. People don't know that one.
It's not surprising. You're a good bullshitter.
Thanks. Oh, look, chapstick. Really weird.
Oh, man.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, it's like going back to like Ben and Jerry's. Why do you think Ben and Jerry's does these special one-offs? They want to be relevant. They want to get their people to try these things. They know they can sell ice cream. They understand we make a damn good ice cream. You say Ben & Jerry's, people are not going to think of, like, for instance, when I say the word Mac, what do you think of?
What, computers?
Okay, Brett, what do you think when I say Mac?
Computers.
There's also Mac trucking, Mac cosmetics. So like there's different Macs in the world, but when you say Ben and Jerry's, it's ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
They have their market down. They know who they go into. And then they can go off and do their, okay, I can sell this crappy thing that cost me probably maybe 35 cents to the quart and sell it for $5.55, or for Brett Kate's $15. It happens. I get it. But I mean, they do the special ones so they can make, I don't know if it's make a difference, but get the ideas out that they can do. They still put their name out. They still are edgy. They're still on the cusp of reality. I mean, theme parks kind of do the same thing, but it's just harder because it's more expensive. You could change your ice cream flavor in 2 seconds just by adding different chemicals and or natural flavors to them. Where you want to put a RMC into a theme park, you either have to have an old wooden coaster that needs to be refurbed, or you have to start from scratch and build a new item that's going to cost you millions. So it's like, yeah, theme parks are just they're tricky, unlike ice cream, which is not tricky because it's ice cream. You take cream and you put egg in it and sugar, and you have ice cream. There's a freezing part in that too.
There's a couple intermediate steps, but it's all schematic.
It's the same.
Yeah.
You're not gonna build 3 years. What was it like for like coasters and all that? 3 or 4 years. Maybe probably a year to 16 months to build, but to prefab all that, you're looking at a couple years. So I mean, so we're gonna rate this ice cream yet?
Oh yeah. So
It's the main damn purpose we're here for.
this was just an excuse for I think the ice cream was the most.
Brett to talk.
Yeah, it was the point. It was like comedians in cars getting coffee. It just got us here to talk. It's more of like a podcast style, but thank you for being a part of the first episode of Ice Cream Hour. This was nice.
So what are we judging now? What are the 5? We all did 3 out of the 5.
Okay, yeah. So we had flavor, mouthfeel, creativity, packaging, and value.
Packaging. Good packaging. I like the cow with the spatula. It's kind of funny. Cause it does do with the fudge brownie. Like the cow's making some brownies. Like it's very funny. Like that's kind of funny too. It takes the green out because it's cubed. Anyway, yeah, there's a cow, and I think it is, well, I will say it does tell you if you're a skinny bitch, it's only 350 calories for 2/3 of it. But if you eat all of it, it's 1,040 calories. Like that is very blatant on the package. I'm like, you know what? Go for it. Thank you for doing that for us. Appreciate that, bitches. There's only 190% added sugar if you eat the whole thing. It's great. No, I would give it definitely is a fun package, but they always do fun packaging. So I mean, if we get a 10 on packaging.
Bro, what about you? Did you enjoy this ice cream?
Yeah, I like it.
So what would you like to try next time? You said s'mores?
Yes, give me some more.
There's a cannoli one too. I found out the whole cannoli, I think it's called. That's uninteresting to me because I was looking for the peanut butter one and the cookie dough filled one. There were 2 of the options. I couldn't find them, but it's okay. I'm not upset. I had to get this. It was. I mean, I think it is a good special treat. As for value wise, like, what is this? A pint? Yeah, 1 pint is like $5.50, where I could probably make 2 gallons for about half the price. And I get to choose what's in it. So I mean, I think it's a good pre-plan, kind of like this thing. Like it was good. Like it's not an everyday thing. So I think for special occasions, it's a good price. But every day, probably a 5, like price wise. But I'm also, I'm Catholic. We're cheap. They pass the collection. They pass the collection plate around and I start making change for a 20. I put in a 20 and take out a 10. I don't see a problem with this.
All right.
I think the weirdest category is that mouthfeel. I don't understand mouthfeel.
Mouthfeel, like, I'll give you an example with mouthfeel.
Please don't.
Brett likes applesauce. I hate applesauce. Applesauce to me.
It's just on texture?
is someone chewed up
Really?
an apple and spit it inside a cup and slapped a Mott's label on it.
How about
That's
tapioca? How do you feel about tapioca?
I've never had it.
Brett, any words on tapioca?
Never had it.
Wow. Okay, I guess I'm the odd one out then. Okay, fair.
Fine.
Fair enough for applesauce though. I've had applesauce, so something we can at least say we all have tried. I didn't hate it. I just again nothing to compare it to. Quality was good, but it's Ben and Jerry's. You really can't go bad with Ben and Jerry's. If I were to try this again, I would probably suggest going with not a local brand, but more of an off-brand. Like there's like gelato that's also like not Ben and Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's is easy to get across the country. I think it'd be fun to try something else that you also get from across the country that's not Ben and Jerry's, like another brand, to see where you compare it to Ben and Jerry's, and you have something you're not comparing Ben and Jerry's to Ben and Jerry's. That's something I would suggest, but I'm also usually wrong, so I'm okay with that.
Hey, we tried Talenti one week and it was really, really good.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you would recommend that? Good
I mean,
mouth flavor.
I'm cool with anything. I'm just a big ice cream person, but I mean, I do like the fact that it wasn't icy, as you said.
Yeah.
It was definitely
creamy.
creamy. Like,
It was
that's
actually
what I
was
like about
creamy.
it. But Ben and Jerry's does kind of hit you in the face with how sugary it is.
I know it's 190% the daily intake. If you ate the whole thing like I did, well, I still have some left, but
I ate the
Ate
whole thing immediately.
Oh my God.
I'm the fat one.
But you get half your iron, so counts for something, right?
But only 24% of my fiber, so you bound up for a week. Great. Saturated
plugged
fat,
up.
155%. Saturated fat. There we go.
I'm sure you had enough fiber while working on the couple TV broadcasts you've been a part of the past couple weeks.
You know, you're not going to be wrong. No, I would definitely. I could say if someone got this and actually really enjoyed chocolate ice cream, I think they would be very satisfied with it.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. If you like chocolate ice cream, go for it. If you like vanilla ice cream, you might not be as pleasantly surprised with it. I would, however, recommend putting these little Pop-Tart bites in it because that made it completely crunchy delicious.
I'm going to try that next time.
You should put them also in the toaster and then put it so you have like the hot and the cold mixed together and the crunchy and the savory together. I'm just saying. There's options. You don't have to live in your small snack bubble with the Pop-Tart. Open a new window.
Let's wrap this thing up. Thank you guys so much.
Michael needs to get his beauty sleep.
I know. It's almost 10. It's time for bed.
I'm so tired. I'm getting up in about 5 and a half hours. All right. Thank you for tuning in. If you watched, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Brett. This was a lot of fun.
For whom?
I thought it was fun. All right. Hopefully this saves to my computer. This was a lot.
Oh, it'll save.